The subcommittee hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs, will come to order.
A former intelligence officer reveals a covert UAP reverse engineering program, red cubes fly over Vandenberg Space Force base, and talk of non-human biologics. Just another day's work for the House Oversight Committee's explosive UFO hearing. Join me for a quick recap of the top 9 bombshells that rocked UFO news. Commander David Fravor drops the mic in the committee room, recalling his infamous 2004 Tic Tac UAP encounter.
Based off of each of your experiences and observations, do you believe UAPs pose a potential threat to our national security?
Yes, and here's why. The technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had, and you could put that anywhere. If you had one, you captured one, you reverse engineered it, you got it to work, you're talking something that can go into space, go someplace, drop down in a matter of seconds, do whatever it wants, and leave, and there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing.
Former F-18 pilot Ryan Graves shocks members of Congress with a strange description of the UAPs encountered by fellow Navy pilots.
Are there common characteristics to the UAPs that have been cited by different pilots, and can you describe what the convergence of descriptions is?
Certainly. We were primarily seeing dark gray or black cubes inside of a clear sphere.
I'm sorry, dark gray or black cubes?
Yes, inside of a clear sphere, where the apex or tips of the cube were touching the inside of that sphere. And that was primarily what was being reported when we were able to gain a visual tally of these objects.
Representatives Tim Burchett, Ana Paulina Luna, and Matt Gates alleged they were initially denied access to UAP data and witnesses by military officials at Eglin Air Force Base.
Several months ago, my office received a protected disclosure from Eglin Air Force Base indicating that there was a UAP incident that required my attention. I sought a briefing regarding that episode and brought with me Congressman Burchett and Congresswoman Luna. We asked to see any of the evidence that had been taken by flight crew in this endeavor. We were not afforded access to all of the flight crew. And initially, we were not afforded access to images and to radar. And they saw a sequence of 4 craft in a clear diamond formation for which there is a radar sequence.
Ryan Graves recounts a bizarre 2003 sighting at now Vandenberg Space Force Base.
Can you please explain to me in detail the event that occurred at Vandenberg Air Force Base?
Certainly. In the 2003 timeframe, a large group of Boeing contractors were operating near one of the launch facilities at Vandenberg Air Force Base when they observed a very large 100-yard sided red square approach the base from the ocean and hover at low altitude over one of the launch facilities. This object remained for about 45 seconds or so before darting off over the mountains.
Former intelligence officer and UFO whistleblower David Grusch testifies under oath to the existence of a clandestine government UAP reverse engineering program.
In 2019, the UAP Task Force Director asked me to identify all special access programs and controlled access programs, also known as SAPs and CAPs, we needed to satisfy our congressionally mandated mission, and we were direct report at the time to the DepSecDef. I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
Grusch alleges briefing Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick before the latter's takeover as Arrow director, but doesn't hear back from him. Kirkpatrick fought back against the claims in a scathing statement. Quote, "The central source of those allegations has refused to speak with Arrow," unquote.
On the 19th of April, Dr. Kirkpatrick, head of Arrow, had said that he did not find any evidence of UAPs. You also stated that you had, in your interview, that you had briefed him on information that you were uncovering, but that he did not follow up with you. Were the items that you divulged to him pertinent to national security?
Yes, him and I had a classified conversation in April 2022 before he took over Arrow in July 2022, and I provided him some concerns I had.
Do you know why he might not have followed up with you?
Unfortunately, I cannot read his mind. I wish he did.
The committee hears testimony the phenomenon has caused physical harm to humans.
At one point, you had said that there has been harmful activity or aggressive activity. Has any of the activity been aggressive, been hostile in your reports?
I know of multiple colleagues of mine that got physically injured, and the activity. And I got
by UAPs or by people within the federal government?
Both.
The 1971 Treaty on Measures to Reduce the Risk of Outbreak of Nuclear War between the USA and the USSR contained a now unclassified protocol to inform each other of UFO nuclear incursions.
Article 3 of the Nuclear Arms Treaty with Russia identifies UAPs. It specifically mentions them. To your knowledge, are there safety measures in place with foreign governments or other superpowers to avoid an escalatory situation in the event that a UAP malevolent event occurs?
Yeah, you're referring to a public treaty in the UN Register. It's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, the Agreement on Measures to Reduce the Risk of Outbreak of Nuclear War signed in 1971. Unclassified treaty publicly available. And if you cite the George Washington University National Security Archives, you will find the declassified in 2013 specific provisions in the specific red line flash message traffic with the specific codes.
Echoed by gasps in the room, Grusch testifies to the existence of non-human biologics.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, Biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
The House Oversight Committee's UFO hearing shocked Washington and the world. As Congress gears up for a fight over legislative oversight of clandestine programs, some members of Congress have already requested the House Speaker establish a select committee on UAPs with full subpoena powers. UFO Disclosure is only getting started.